during the day, it kind of evolved. So we're gonna do a live programming session in an ensemble programming style. So if there's mistakes, they are not mine, but yours. So I will be just a typist, and you will tell me what to do. But what we're gonna talk about is rustlings. And the other reason why I wanted to do this talk today is leading into this event. I talked with a lot of people who were kind of interested in the meetup, but they felt that I'm not good enough, I'm not experienced enough with Rust. I clearly cannot come. And I hope that we managed to convince at least some of those people to join. I think meetups are a really great place to get involved with the new technology, learn about from the talks, from the people, see what kind of technology you're dealing with. And Rustlings is one of those projects that is really good for beginners. I also realized I didn't properly introduce myself when I was here earlier. I was more concerned about the YouTube setup. So my name is Juhis. I work at Futurice as a developer advocate, basically doing this. I run a lot of meetups with a lot of different communities, different technologies. I travel a bit all across Europe for different events, conferences, meetups. And I started learning Rust roughly like a year and a half ago. I first got interested in 2019 at PyCon Estonia when Dawn gave a talk about Rust with Python. And then I started following the Rust community. And immediately a year later, I started coding with Rust. And in 2021, I built a small command line tool to get NHL results into the terminal. And I wrote a blog series of me learning Rust as somebody coming from JavaScript and Python background. You can find that at amati.org/rust. But one of the things I learned during that is a project called Rustlings. How many of you are familiar with the project before? About maybe 1/3. Awesome. Rustlings is a project that helps you learn Rust. But it does it in a really interesting way. It basically gives you exercises where the compiler doesn't compile. And you need to fix them. Closure has a little bit similar. I think it's Closure Catan or something like that. They have tests that fail. And you need to fix the code to get the tests pass. But I really like the approach by Rustlings because, first of all, the compiler is super nice in Rust. I think it's more of a advice to you rather than the usual complaining about what you do. And I think that in any kind of language, learning how to deal with the error messages is so valuable. Because that, if you become good with those, you can start debugging and solving any issues that you get. So Rustlings is a command line tool that looks like this when you run it first time. And now I want to show you how it actually functions. So I've installed Rustlings on the newest version. And if I run Rustlings watch, it's gonna try to compile the first exercise. The first one compiles successfully. It outputs something. And then it says, when you're done with this exercise, delete the comment, I am not done. So if we jump into Vim, and if I delete this line and jump back, it should, I need to save. It should reload. And now it says, it successfully ran intro 1. And then it says, we tried to compile intro 2. You get the actual error input from or the output from the compiler. And now your job is to fix this. The thing is that Rustlings doesn't really teach you how to do any of these things. So you need the Rust book or some other kind of complementary materials while you're learning. So if we open intro to What should I do? Any ideas? Yes. Awesome. So we go to line 8 and we say Rust Finland. Now if I save it, it gets run. And if we did it correctly, it says good. It works. You can delete. I am not done. And we get to the next one. I won't be going through all of this with you today, but I just want to show what the kind of workflow is. So now it says that in the variables 1, something went wrong. So it cannot find the value x in this scope. Let's open variables. Variables 1. Any ideas? What should we do to introduce x to the scope? So on line 8 we should say mutable x. And we can try that out. Then I need to scroll down. Alright, that helped us. Now it tells us what we need to do. So that was a good first step. So if we add let and we run it, it says successful, and then we delete the I am not done. So the thing with rustlings is that it really helps you get kind of step by step, help you learn what the error messages are, what they mean, and they have quite a good kind of selection of topics. So if we'll take a look at the folders in the exercises, you learn about variables, functions, generics, macros, all sorts of things. And this is open source, so if you feel you want to contribute, make a new exercise, you can do that. So if you have never tried rustlings, especially if you're in your first year of Rust, I highly recommend taking a look. I found it at 4 or 5 months in, and it was super helpful. I wish I learned it at the beginning. And I really want to emphasize how much I enjoy this idea that you get real life error messages and then you need to fix them. So you learn 2 valuable skills at the same time.